What's up, everyone? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys have been having a good weekend. Hey, do you remember when I used to do these? Yeah, it's been a while. So, yeah, here we are. Um, and I'm doing a little bit of painting. I'm going to kick on my Discord too. And we'll just see if anyone wants to pop in. If not, it's okay. It's been a long time since I've streamed. I'm going to hop in my on air section here. And I'm going to, let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay. All right. So I'll be streaming in here too while I'm painting. And tonight we're painting this guy here. This is the Fane Night Guardian from Warmachine. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Painting Warmachine. It's been years and years since I've painted Warmachine. And yeah, here we are. We're back to this thing again. You can see I've got a lot of the basic. Oh, hey, what's up, Shadowcat? How you been? Look at that. Um, yeah, I got a lot of the basic colors down, and now I'm just kind of filling in some detail. We're gonna do the cool parts on stream, hopefully, and you guys are gonna get to see it. But yeah, um, so this is really what I've been mostly working on from a painting standpoint is Warmachine stuff, particularly my this Retribution army that I recently picked up, and you know, it's been pretty fun so far, um, and I'm learning the game and having a good time learning the game as well. Um, it's still got a lot of my misgivings about war games in general, but I wouldn't limit that to just, you know, a Warmachine particular issue. It's really how I get on with war games. So you've been working on Warmachine? Awesome. What faction are you working on for Warmachine? Is it a new faction? Are you going like me and just going sticking old school until they tell me to get out? That's my plan. Is you know, I really enjoy. I, this was my one and, well, that's not true. I had a small mercs contingent too, but this was my main faction back when I didn't play Warmachine, because I owned Warmachine, but really almost never got much chance to play it, and was not having a good time on the playing side. Oh, you're playing the two, we'll call them two of the main guys, the red guys and the blue guys. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so I have been using this thing here, acrylic crystal from MIG. I can't find this particular color anymore, but it is fantastic for what I've been using it for. So I think it's called light blue. Um, but this is great for like windows and that kind of thing. But I also find it works really nice. It's got this really nice kind of glowy effect that I like to use on my ret miniatures as well. So let me give you a little example of that. If I just do like a little tiny little dab here on the face, right? It just gives me that teeny tiny little bit of blue detail. In fact, it's so tiny I don't think you guys are seeing that on camera. So so let's light up some more bits of this model. Right? And the neat thing is, because it's ret kind of has that glowy that glowy blue deal, you can kind of put this, you know, various places on the model, and it'll look like you've got that glowing sort of arcane power on their stuff, right? It actually does a great job just putting that on there like that. So yeah, this stuff is really great. I've been using this for my ret along with I've been using a lot of that noosh from Monument Hobbies, which is kind of takes your water base and uses acrylic technology to make them behave a little bit more like an oil. That's really cool. But you can see here, just me kind of dabbing, strategically placing this. What this does, it gives this cool kind of like glowing retribution symbol there. And then I'll outline it once that's dry. But I'm gonna continue on getting the little bits. All right, with all these little. I mean, I look at them like gemstones. These little gemstones on the ret pieces. Oh, cool. Yeah, I will totally accept that. I'm still very, very much a noob to Warmachine, so I appreciate any help I can get. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm still deciding if I actually like this game. That's yeah. I've been playing it. I've been, learning bits here and there, and I appreciate my local opponents for being so patient with me. Yeah, I'm still sort of deciding, like, what is my actual relationship with this game. I will say, painting up red stuff is my comfort zone. I absolutely love it. I'm not gonna change anything there. That's the best part of being into Warmachine. But the game still kind of putting two and two together on that front, seeing if I want to do that. Well, of course, I mean, I want to play the pieces I paint for sure, right? That's why I picked ret. That's why I picked this particular, and I picked this side of the faction because I like the aesthetics of them more than I like shadows. And it just so happens these are way easier to find than Shadows of Retribution, because everyone considers Shadows to be the competitive side of the faction, and this is kind of the trash side of the faction. So I'm enjoying that for what it is. Alright, so while some stuff is drying here, a friend of yours co-wrote the very first book. Wow. So Mark 3 or 4. Playing Mark 4. I've never played Mark 3. I played Mark 2. I played exactly 2 games of Mark 2, I think, back in the day. And they were just it didn't grab me. It wasn't the experience I was looking for at that time. I didn't appreciate precision, high competition at that time. Right? I was first and foremost a Malifaux player, and Malifaux, 1.5 was a very wonky game, with some really interesting mechanics. Did not consider it to be a very competitive game. That makes sense. And I kind of liked it that way. You know what I mean? Wow, I can actually see on camera here. I can actually see the parts that I'm missing. So that's cool. Yeah, playing some Mark IV. You know, there's stuff in Mark IV that I really appreciate that I don't have to deal with anymore. The whole 2 times I played Mark II, facing being a big deal. I just didn't want to mess with facing. I know Bushido has facing. I understand that you can use facing as a cool mechanic, um, but Bushido just kind of hurts a lot. Bushido does not like me, so we'll just put it that way. All right, so we're gonna. So you can see I'm just putting. All I'm doing is just kind of coloring in this texture here. Your typical grass and earth base here for this guy. And still kind of letting things dry. But you can do other things too, like with this MIG stuff. Like, okay, so you saw I can continue to put it in various parts of the model, but the way Rhett works is they like to have that sort of blue energy kind of on top of the steel, so you can do stuff like that. I'm gonna put a little blue here, right? And it just really kind of lends itself to that effect. Heat it back works for me. Yeah, I unfortunately I really love Bushido miniatures. Some of my favorite miniatures out, like just in the market. Period. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Love the minis so much. And yeah, that game hates me. All right, working on the back here. I think this is like a separate tabard thing. I think this is probably supposed to be steel color back here. Right, like he's got some sort of electro magic electro cape, which is kind of cool. So I can use the blue. I can use that cool blue stuff back here as well, to give it, right, to kind of tronify the cape, if you will. It looks it looks decent without the tronify, but we're gonna add the tronify. Of course, we're gonna add the tronify. I really love this aesthetic for Rhett. I love the clean white and like the glowing bright blue with it. It just really like, and I've been doing so I'm not a going pure white. I don't know if you can tell this on camera, but this is kind of a bone. I've been using a bone color for most of my stuff. And I really like that. Like my original Rhett was like basically Studio Rhett, where I went with the absolute pure white, and then I went pure white, and then the lighting was more of a aqua, because it's like an aqua blue green. I think they use like turquoise ink, if I recall. And that was my original scheme, was more like that. And they use like black and gray on the robes. And so this scheme is slightly different, right? So I've got bone instead. I'm using this like light blue for the lighting, and then and then the cloaks and stuff are either navy or like gray or even like charcoal black. But yeah, it's interesting that this guy got more attention than my casters did from a painting standpoint. I should probably go back and give them a little bit more love. I gave this guy like, I mean, honestly, I haven't been painting this guy for very long, but where are you going to put the light cycles? Yeah. I know. that would be sick, man. If I I do really love not the I know the Tron. What was that? The 2011 Tron? The 2011 Tron, I think, gets a bad rap. It's not a terrible movie, but aesthetically, that original, that this like light blue Tron, I love that. I love that scheme, and I think it goes really well with Bone. And so I'm painting up this ret, dude, and I'm like really enjoying that aspect of it. This guy I got I got secondhand. He showed up and he was pink. He was like pink and black or pink and blue. So he was kind of he looked like the Guyver, just the way that they did it, and it was really cool. It just didn't obviously this is the color scheme I need. Oh hey Spaz. What do I think about the game? Yeah, well, first off, let me agree with what Shadowcat says. I love Warmachine over 40K. So here's the deal with me and war games. Okay, I I in general try to avoid war games. Okay, it's not that I don't like war games. It's just that they don't fit my. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop painting for a sec so I can answer this question because we're. I mean, honestly, we're doing pretty well. They don't fit my lifestyle. Okay, right. When I think of war game, and I'm talking like not 10 mini skirmish game. I'm talking 30 30 miniatures and up war game that's typically played on larger than a 3x3. Um, when I think war game, I think of spending months in advance, building, painting, tweaking your army lists, doing all that sort of thing, showing up to the store with big old bags full of minis and lots of boxes, terrain, that sort of thing. Setting up a big board, hoping you have space at the hobby shop, then playing a game that will run you a good 3 hours. So I tend to stay away from war games in general because of that. Because my experience, I want faster, right? I can play. I play every week, and I know it really sounds like I'm bragging. I'm trying not to. It's a luxury to be able. It's a privilege to be able to play every week, right? I play miniature gaming every week, and I play for about 5 hours each week in a session, which means I can play one war game, or I can play like 3, maybe even 4 skirmish games. So my jam is really skirmish games. And I'm getting to the answer. I'm sorry this is taking so long. Um, with Warmachine, perhaps the biggest draw to me is that it is such a clean rule set that if I knew what I was doing and my opponent knew what they were doing, then we should be done around 2 hours, maybe under 2 hours. And it's at least in theory, it's clean, right? You're not bogged down in stuff in theory. So that's my goal. It's like, okay, I can collect and build and paint. Okay, I like that part of the war game. I like that part, especially if it's a faction I really like. I wanted to play Conquest, guys. Conquest is a cool looking game. It's cool sounding. It's very clean. But none of the factions grabbed me to the point where like I can commit to painting 30, 40, 50 plus miniatures in that faction. For Ret, I can commit to that. I like this, and okay, I can paint a bunch of these and be happy with that. So that part it has me. In theory, it has me. What I've been finding is that, like all other war games, the Warmachine players, like all other Wargamer players, they want all their toys, and they want big long games, and they want to grind it out. They want to play, and that's the part that I'm like, pumping the brakes on, right? Oh, I only play 100-point games. Oh man, this is a 7-turn game. Like 7 turns of Warmachine? Oh my god. it's a lot. So that's where I pump the brakes. Right. It If it were up to me, and I already have a video kind of putting together about this, but if it were up to me, if you want me to really like Warmachine, then you set the points to 60 points as the standard, and you play on a 3x3. You limit the turn max to 4, and you allow scoring at the end of the first turn. At the end of the second player's first turn. That's just me. I would rather have that tighter, faster experience. Even if I don't get all my toys, even if I don't get every single interaction and hyper bonus and big silly toys out that I can't field my 2 colossals and all my war engines. I don't care. I mean, I think there's a time and place for that. Like if we're setting up for, like, let's do a big mega battle, dude. Let's do 100 points. Let's do 150 points. Let's play that duo 75-point duos. Like, there's a time and place for that. I would love that, by the way. I've never played a 75-point duo. It sounds like an awesome format. I could make that my once a week. But as far as, like, if I want to get lots of games of Warmachine in, dude, set me at 60 points. Put me on a 3x3. Like, let's do this fast. It doesn't. And I realize, let me point out to you guys, I've played, 3 games? No, I've now played 4 games of Mark IV. I played 4 games of Mark IV, so maybe I'm a complete idiot. I'm sure the Warmachine community would be happy to call me a complete noob and idiot for having this opinion this early. But I played one 100-point game with a Helios Colossal, and I was like, it just seemed like too much. It's just, I get it. Like, it does make you feel like you're playing a big epic battle, but I don't want that to be my regular, if that makes sense. I don't want that to be the regular game. And most people I'm talking to is like, no, you need 100 points. You play 100 points. Really? Like, you need to have all your toys? I don't think so, dude. Like, I don't know. You guys chime in. Let me know. And be honest, if you think I'm talking out my ass, and obviously I do not know what I'm talking about. I played 4 games, so I'll willingly tell you I do not know what I'm talking about. But I am coming from the standpoint of somebody that really loves skirmish and has played more systems of skirmish probably than, I don't know. Oh, hey, what's up, Nelson? I played more systems of skirmish probably than anybody around me, but whatever. But that's my opinion. If Warmachine was 60 points, play on a 3x3, make tough decisions, right? 60 points. I put together a mock 60-point list, and I can do caster, 2 to 3 warjacks, 2 to 3 solos, 2 to 3 units, and a handful of, like, bits and bobs. I can do that for 60 points, and that's a great, in my opinion, that's a nice, like, quick experience. Why can't that be a thing? 50, I think it's weird. Like, 50 is just barely, like, just do 60. 60 is great. You can actually get a good, fun game in for 60. I think. No one will try it with me. I need someone to try 60 points with me, please. I'm sure Jake will, and Sean will, but the other, like, the experienced Warmachine players, I don't know if they will. They'll be like, no, 100 points or else, bro. Now, to be fair, I've played, my other 3 games were 75 points. And yeah, I like 75 points. I can get down with 75 points. I just don't want that to be, Here's my deal. And Nelson, you hit the nail on the head with Malifaux. Same thing. You don't need 50 soul stones for Malifaux. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Play 35 soul stones. Again, set it to 4 turns, score on the first turn. That's just me. That's just me. I like all games smaller. Play Legion, yeah, 500 points. Play Skirmish. I love that. Maneuverability, throw break. I don't know, but 60 points. Can you really? How much bricking can you do? I don't know. I don't know the geometry. I don't know enough. I have not seen. Again, I'm speaking in total ignorance here and willing to admit that. But I hear that. I just don't buy it. I don't know. I've again, and I don't have. I had one mounted guy, so maybe I'll need to figure that out. Yeah, I don't buy it because the way I've like watching 100-point games, um, there doesn't seem to be that much going around. There's the battle lines that move back and forth, and there's that push and pull. I see lots and lots of that. Um, I don't see wide maneuvering like you're talking about. I don't see that. You did it to me in the 100-point game. But you know, when I'm watching two players that know what they're doing, I don't see a whole lot of that. So, anyways, yeah, Warmachine said, I know it's 75 points is fine. I still would rather. I just want to have a 90-minute game. I just want to have that's really. I really think you can have that experience in 90 minutes, but that's just me. And again, it's a lot. Like when when I played that 100-point game, and again I didn't know what I'm doing. It took around like 3 hours or whatever, and for me it just felt really kind of grindy. I was like, okay, yeah. It I felt like you can get the same amount of tactical tension, we'll call it, with fewer things on the board. That's just me. That's just where I sit. But so we played that game for 3 hours. Also, I played that game with Bing 2 weeks ago. We played a 50 Soulstone Malifaux game. That took about 3 hours too. And at the end of it, I was just like ready to die. Right? And it's just like it's just too much, guys. I don't know. I'm not the younger guys are like, I just want to play my big hell on my thing. Like, okay, that's fine. I'm an older guy. I'm like, dude, I want to either have a lot of short experiences or commit to one long experience. And yeah. So when we finished those games and I got to play Blood Bowl 7s, like Blood Bowl 7s was like the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I don't need to think. I got my 7 pieces. There's no arguing. There's no I don't have to sit there and tweak and twist and if I reduce this by 1 point and then I can fit in this other guy, I can upgrade this to I hate that shit, honestly. I honestly hate. This is why I like it's another reason why I like the Legacy. Don't give me a spell rack. No. Don't tell me what arms I need to put on. No, fuck that. Just I picked a Gorgon. Here's what a Gorgon does. I picked a Manticore. Here's what that's it. I don't want choice. I mean, just being honest. I don't need all that. And with Malifaux, it's like everybody when you set up your Malifaux thing, it's like, oh, and here's my order of activation, and I'm gonna make this contraption, and he must have this bonus and if you have the calm the fuck down. Like this is, you can just Jesus, like it's not. Yeah, life is short, guys. Just make some call okay. You can have some of the cool. You can do your smooth move, that sort of thing. But does it really have to be all that trash? Like, really? Really? I don't know. This is just me. Again, realize I do not have a popular opinion here. Most wargamers are booing and hissing like, I want all my toys. Why don't you shut up, bro? Yeah. So that's just me. All right, let's get back to some painting here. But yeah, um, I I I just like the sorry. Like if I'm, you know, it. I guess we can relate it to alcohol, and we can be like, you can sit at the bar and drink the two that you remember the yard house, the yard, and you could buy a yard of beer where you right, you could buy one beer. It was a big 3 foot long tube, like, and you sit there like a dumbass, like drinking one beer, or hear me out, or he can order a little taster and enjoy lots of different beer and not look like a jackass. Like there's anyways, that's the analogy I'm gonna add is yeah, I just feel like war games are just too much. War games are just too much for me. I have a hard time committing to them. People want, and you know what? If um, the one thing I do think that would be kind of cool for trying to get in like a war game experience in a shorter amount of time is I could play smaller scale. Like I could play like 10 millimeter war game or something like that. 19 what? We interrupt Play It Painted with a talk show. I know, right? Well, we're gonna need therapy for me. Somebody's gonna need to come in and hold an intervention because I'm a wannabe wargamer that is screaming heresy. Like I don't want all my toys out there. Like that's heresy to the wargaming community. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't want all your? Yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me. It's just my opinion. I don't know. Say what you will about it. That's my opinion. Life is short. I wanna have lots of. I think for me too. What would be cool about playing like a 60, or well, just forget the board. Well, yeah, the board size too. It's annoying too because I get what you're saying about like you need to maneuver and blah 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 blah, but you know how hard it is to once you get out of 3x3. 3x3 is like so convenient. You're everywhere. Oh, no problem. No space at the shop. No problem. We can fit your 3x3 here. We can 3x3 over here. Yeah, no problem. No, it's gotta be 4x4, bro. Okay, you're dead then. You can't game. Forget it. Yeah. But those guys that I watched. What was that? A couple Sundays ago, I was at CQ. I got there like I don't know 5 minutes before the shop opened, and it was like the Magic pre-release thing. And there's these two guys. They were camped out. These two guys in a pickup truck camped out in front of the shop. And I was like, and I looked in the back of the bed of their truck, and sure enough, they had all that shit in the back. They had the big bags. They had all that. I'm like, okay, so 40K, got it. All right, sure. These guys are gonna try to play 40K on a Magic pre, and they walked up, and Kenny sent them away, and they were just SOL. So you're saying even smaller? Yeah, okay. In theory, I would. In theory, I love the fact that Bushido is on a 2x2. It's the only thing rule-wise that I do like about Bushido is that it's on a 2x2. And I think even with their like Bushido, like is most of the time it's like 4-inch movement. I'm like you can still maneuver around the board in Bushido. You don't have to because you just walk up and take people's AP away. It's a completely different That's a completely different gripe from me there. But yeah, you don't have to do that, but you can. I do like that. Yeah, hell, my ideal game would be on a 2x2. Period. You want to move like we can move basically. Um, you could, we played some Moonstone on 2x2. I'd play a 15-point game of Malifaux on 2x2. Yeah, yeah, 2x2 is good times. I would totally be down for that. All right, so we're back, and we're back to this. Walking Dead minis on 2x2. Oh, you can play three. Yeah, 3x3 is cool. Like 3x3 is good enough, I think. But yeah, if I could, man, would love to see more games on 2x2. I think 2x2 is fantastic. I don't know, but I also understand that like I'm in the minority for sure. Like it's part of the appeal that people have for playing war games is they want to have the big epic feel of a battle. They want to, and I love that. There's a time and place for that for sure. I love that. If you said, hey, let's play Middle Earth and let's play Battle of Five Armies or some shit, and let's just spend the whole day playing this one game. Hell yeah, I'm down. And yeah, we set up a 4x6 and we play the shit like that's our day. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm down. But I'm talking about like my weekly. Let's show up. Let's play for a few hours. I need that to be smaller. I need it to be tighter. And I will say that Warmachine, at least that's what it has over 40K is that you're in for a much tighter experience, and you're in and out of there. But it's not. But you could say that about Wrath of Kings, right? Wrath of Kings, by the way, Wrath of Kings, still my favorite 4x4 game, Wrath of Kings. Other cool 4x4 games that I like, obviously Warmachine, Middle Earth, I love that 4x4. And I would love to play Middle Earth on a 3x3. And then shoot, I had another one in mind. Was it Wrath of Kings, Middle Earth, Warmachine? There was one more. Oh, Saga. Yeah, Saga plays on like a 3x4 most of the time, which is weird. Saga's weird, but yeah, Saga plays on a 4x4. I like Saga, but put Saga on a 3x3, I'm happier. So, anyways, that's my deal, guys. This is gonna be we're just talking about if I could, that's where I would go. I would love, for me, what I would like to do is I would like to film 60-point games of Warmachine on a 3x3 because filming is going to be better. And Rumble Slam is a great game. Shadowcat, yeah, it's not a Rumble Slam is a game that plays itself though, so it's not really a tactical experience. You just sort of pick what your guy can do. You're always in range basically, and you roll your dice. It's not much. It's fun for what it is. You're almost watching. You're almost for Rumble Slam. You're almost just watching the game and then just rolling the dice at the appropriate times. That was my son's very first game. He played it when he was 4, because you can. But oh man, where was I? Yeah, like Legion Skirmish plays on a 3x3. I love that. That's great. Oh, where was I? Yeah. So, Speed Machine, like I said, it's 60 points. I'm just pulling this out of my ass and making this up. 60 points. It plays on a 3x3, so you adjust your map. You'd have to adjust your maps. You can start scoring at the end of the second player's first turn because you're going to be close to your objectives and your lines are going to hit pretty quick, or they should. and you're done. Your max turns is 4 turns. That's and what I would like to do is play all 4 of my casters for my faction and try them all out in that format. You get a little taster of each guy, of each playstyle. People can be popping feats like on the first turn if they're in range. There's stuff. I don't know. I just think it's a cool idea. I don't know if it would work, but that's my thinking. Like if I could try something with Warlords, that's what it would be. Warmachine, sorry. It's Warmachine now. There's no... Hordes was the real victim. Alright. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to fill that out. I think I'm actually worried. I'm actually worried that if I hit this with the blue, it's just going to disappear against the darker blue. Only one way to find out, right? Let's test it. Let me test it. Well, you can see there it does already kind of disappear. Right? If I do here, just test that. Actually, maybe it doesn't. If I keep it thin enough. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm still getting plenty of the white showing through. So it's cool. And then it looks like he has a little bit of a... It's pretty subtle, but like a little bit of a glow aura on this lining. I hope it doesn't look like I just screwed up and couldn't paint straight lines. Yeah. The funny thing is this week I've been watching all the Australian Middle-earth channels like freak out over, oh, there's a new edition of Middle-earth. And it's cool. I hope... Oh, you're assuming... Yeah. Yeah, they're assuming the GW version will be bad, or they're gonna be mad. Like when GW took Blood Bowl back, I was super pissed about that. Especially because they made passing a separate stat. And I looked at that as a huge nerf to elf teams, which it kind of... It for sure is. It makes it so you actually have to take an elf thrower on those other teams. I always took the high elf thrower anyway, because safe pass is just super cool with the way I roll dice. Oh no. Oh, YouTube deleted your comment? That sucks. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I always have mixed feelings with Blood Bowl, but yeah, when GW took Blood Bowl back, that was... I was pissed. I stopped playing Blood Bowl for a while. I thought the passing stat was a really bad idea. It's now I'm like, it is what it is. I don't mind just taking the thrower and having a roll. They also just kind of shit on Slan. So GW just knows. So I'm assuming with this new Middle-earth game, GW is going to outlaw Rivendell. They're just going to pick whatever. GW just picks whatever I like and just smashes it in front of my face. So there's that. I want this to dry so I can highlight it with a little light blue. Or should I just leave it like that? No, it doesn't look that good. Does not look that good. I should probably put a little bit of dark color in here as well. Let's do that. GW, but you know, people mad because the GW, we know the GW, their ultimate goal is to drain more money out of their consumers, right? They're going to change rules, and it's not going to be under the best of intentions, if that makes sense. You know, that's why people are mad. That's why they're preemptively mad. For what it's worth, though, Blood Bowl 7s has been my jam. Having so much fun with our Blood Bowl 7s league. You know, Jake has basically lost his mind. And he's always been a huge Blood Bowl guy. I was a much bigger Blood Bowl fan back in the day, too. But you know, I'm getting back into it. It's what we're committing to playing for LVO. So that's all good times there too. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. GW's probably GW hates, like, they hate whatever I like. They're just gonna make sure Rivendell explodes. Oh, Rivendell, you can't play anymore. It's dumb. I got money on that. I got $5 on GW just making it so you can't play Rivendell, or they're gonna limit what you can do to play Rivendell. Let's see. MESG was such a good rule set that probably needed minor tweaks at best, but yeah, I think overhaul, which is bad. Yep. You know, it's weird too. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but if you look at, so right now Steamforged Games owns two basically games on life support, right? They own Warmachine, they own Guild Ball. Both games are on life support. Both games really touted as, you know, some of the most competitive miniature games to ever exist, right? And a lot of the reasoning that they give to why these games collapsed was because of how competitive they were. And I see a lot of truth in that. I see it is, I know, from as much as I love Guild Ball and still my favorite miniature game, I still love Guild Ball that much. It's still my jam. As much as I love Guild Ball, I know how hard it is to get new people into Guild Ball. I know how hard it is to get even interested people over the wall, where they're okay with just these veteran players being significantly better than they are. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's like, you know, we have new players that play Guild Ball, but a lot of times I feel like I'm just asking them, hey, can you just show up so that, you know, you can lose to our best players all the time? Like, I get that. That's tough. You can't, it's what makes competitive. It's what people say they want. Like, I want a balanced rule set. I want a competitive game. I want to do this. And then when there are systems like that, what happens is those systems kind of eat themselves. You know, you end up with a shark tank full of sharks only. You know, I've talked about this on the channel many times. And so these games, they end up eating themselves. And Warmachine kind of, this, you know, there's a lot of other things that happen with Warmachine on the development side too, but at least part of it was this, you know, I'm gonna, in Mark II, I was told by virtually everybody. They just say, hey, you're gonna have to be okay with losing at least your first dozen games. You're gonna have to be okay with that. Um, and I was like, oh, okay. So I got to stomach losing at least 12 games, and then coming to the conclusion eventually that some players are just I'm just not going to beat them 99 out of 100 times. And I'm not singling out Warmachine because it's the exact same thing for Guild Ball. You can say the same thing. Um, and so it as much as we love these games, I it's tough. Like it's tough. And Warmachine Mark IV, it looks like they really did. They are trying to address some of that while still trying to appease, their remaining fan base. You know what I mean? So like, I was saying like taking the facings out, making it easier, the troop movements with the weird sort of teleporting thing, like that simplifies things. It's like Legion style movement. Okay, that's cool, right? The scenarios are they seem to be a little easier to follow than some of the Mark II, Mark III scenarios. So they're trying to fix, some of that hyper competitiveness, but while still remaining true to the identity of Warmachine. And I get that. But it does leave us kind of wondering about what is going to be the ultimate fate of Warmachine because of it. So, anyways, I'm interested in Guild Ball, but the wall is annoying to climb. I have limited time and don't want to get stomped the first 30 games. Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame. The only thing on the Guild Ball side that we were trying to do was, we were actively trying to, especially with the team tournament that I had tried to set up um, in July, was that we would have captains that are veteran captains, and the captains would help ensure that players of like experience and like skill were playing against each other. That was really the main idea there. And the captains would be, they're the most experienced. They tend to be the most skilled. They would play against each other. So because I think with Guild Ball, I happened to jump into Guild Ball at the very start, and so everybody started Guild Ball at the same time. It was all kind of level set. So I had a chance to win my first X number of games. And with Mark IV Warmachine, I know Chris is experimenting, but hey, I felt like I'm still in those games. You know what I mean? If win or lose, I feel like I still have agency in the game. I'm not just going to get completely stomped right out of the gate. Guild Ball, if a player is better than you, they're just better than you. Yeah. Relic Knights had that problem too. The 1.5 Relic Knights, it was one of the main complaints that people had. It was like, you just can't beat a player who has more experience with RK, and they're just going to beat you. The better player is just going to win. And so it's really weird. It's really interesting because we say, as like miniature gamers, we say that that's what we want. I want the system to be fair. I want the system to be based on merit. I want the more skilled player to win. And these systems are like, okay, here you go. And suddenly you're in this predictable system where, you have like a Kevin, and if you beat Kevin one in 100 times, well, that's where that system is, right? So we got to be careful with that. You have the opposite side of it. You have a game like Blood Bowl, where yeah, there's a way to mitigate and play and that sort of thing, but you can also just be stupidly lucky all the time. You know what I mean? It's a good and a bad thing. about some of these games. It's like, okay, well, that game's not very competitive. No, it's not. It's not at all. But you can enjoy it for what it is. You can enjoy, and you know, again, I'm gonna do rants about this kind of stuff too. My favorite thing on YouTube for the past like 4 or 5 months has been watching second edition 40K battle reports. Second edition 40K battle reports. 40K second edition was one of the wildest, most imbalanced, most overpowered thing I've ever played in my life. You can draw cards that automatically just blow up and kill squads. You can draw other cards where you could just bring your own squads back. You can auto kill things, like things just die instantly, and it's just pure chaos. But I I I watch those videos and they're so entertaining and they're so enjoyable. And I go back to, me being a teenager and playing all these things and it kind of dawned on me um, the reason why I would still take 40K second edition over 90% of all miniature games out there. I still want to play it. If I'm being honest with you, I still not with the new over. I want to play like super 90s style, old school second edition 40K. And the reason why those games were so good when I played them and when I watched them is because the goal is very different than um, than a lot of miniature games. Okay, so let me give you an example. So we're going to set up Warmachine. We're going to play Warmachine. Um, and our goal is let's play a good, clean game. Let's play a game where the focus is on making the right decisions, where the focus is on learning the mechanics of the game. Um, let's let's focus on playing a good and having a good, clean, fair contest. Right? That's Warmachine. That's our goal when we play Warmachine. Let's do that. And I can get behind that. Obviously, I like that. But when we played second edition 40K, and with a lot of these other narrative games, I'll put Middle Earth in there too. Oh, thanks, Nelson. Yeah, dude, come play Warmachine with me. Let's be idiots. I've got enough for both of us. We can both play. Um, but when you play second edition 40K, when you play these other games, the goal is very different. The goal is, oh, cool. I want to see what happens when the Tyranids fight the Blood Angels. Right? It's not even really about you and I having a contest anymore. It's more about let's watch this narrative unfold. There's a tech marine that's got a rad grenade. Let's throw that rad grenade. Let's see where the radiation spreads and let's see how much shit just randomly dies. That's awesome. I love it's a very different thing than, and that's old school. That's very much old school narrative immersive gaming. When the players their goal is very different than the goal of people playing something like Warmachine. When you play second edition 40K, your goal is really to kind of let that narrative unfold and enjoy it for what it is. Okay, your army got shot to shit. That's pretty funny. Okay, that's hilarious. Let's see, we watch that happen. And it's okay to enjoy both for what it is. Now here's where I was getting at with the whole Steamforged owns these competitive systems, and competitive systems seem like they just eat themselves. From my understanding, a lot of the competitive crowd from Warmachine, the fallout from Warmachine was a lot of those people went to 40K. And guess what? 40K 10th edition is looked at as one of the most competitive games. Wrinkles and all. Right? So people are starting to speculate, well, is 40K starting to eat itself? Because now you have all these competitive people driving 40K. And if you look at a game of 10th edition 40K, and again, their goal being, let's have this fair, strategic, and tactical contest versus second edition 40k, which was, oh man, is Karn the Betrayer gonna kill his own entire squad? Because that's fucking hilarious. There's go watch. I honestly go watch those second edition 40k bat reps. Go watch miniscapes, guys. Go watch miniscapes or minisodes. Minisodes. Watch minisodes and miniscapes because miniscapes they're the same guy. He does painting on miniscapes. He does minisodes, which are games. The 40k. Like watch those because they're fucking great. It's one of my favorite channels of all time. Minisodes. You could watch Bring in Battle, which is a bunch of old guys that play second edition 40k, and that's great. There's so many good second edition 40k channels on, and you could watch Warhammer Fantasy Battles. Shoot, what is the name? There's an Australian channel that plays Warhammer Fantasy Battle 4 through 6, and they also play Old World too. And they're just really entertaining because those are all day games, and they have a lot of the features that I was just bitching about a half hour ago. But that's their day. Is they're watching. The goal of both players is they're watching this narrative unfold. Yes, they are piloting an army, and they are trying to make good decisions with that army, but they're not. It's not. I need this clean tactical win. I'm not trying to talk down on that too, because again, that's the goal. Like that's a completely valid goal for miniature war games. But yeah, contrast second edition with 10th edition. Not the game mechanics, but look, just the entire attitude around the game is very different. Second edition 40k, like I can get behind that. It's super cool. But who knows? Like, is 40k is competition just gonna bury 40k? I don't know. I gotta do more white. See, this is what happens when you paint white miniatures. You gotta keep. I mean, you don't have to, but the more you do, the cooler he looks from far away. This is my knight simp for Assyria. My lady! He's just there to basically shield guard for her. Give her some bonuses because people love to try to kill her, because why not? She's a completely support caster. But yeah, I don't know. I do really like. I for what it's worth, I am enjoying putting Warmachine down and playing it and learning all these different things. I just wish the lessons were a little faster. Can we do like 60 points in 90 minutes? That's all I'm asking. Can we do something like that? Oh shoot. I gotta get. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's not right. But I will say this about Mark IV too. I don't feel like I need to lose a dozen games. I will absolutely lose a dozen games while I'm learning some of the harder lessons. I fully expect to do that. But I'll also point out I really don't have really any intention of being like a quote unquote good Warmachine player. I want to be capable with my faction. I don't think right now, as it stands, I'm watching these 100-point games. It's like I look at the tournament scene kind of like I look at Malifaux tournaments. Like, no thanks. Too much for me. No thanks. But if like the local guys are saying I need to practice for this upcoming tournament and they need a punching bag who can hit back occasionally, then yeah, sign me up. I'm down. I guess that's just how Warmachine is shaping up for me, and that can change, right? I can something can click down super hard in a month, 2 months from now, and I can say, "Oh no, I'm all about it, bro." That could be a thing. That could happen. It happened with Guild Ball, so it could happen with this game. But yeah, I was avoiding this game because war game, like big game, carrying around big things. Now I have big things to carry around. Kind of that part kind of bugs me. But yeah, well, I just kind of want to see where it goes, you know. And I get this cool guy who looks way cooler than Ossian. Ossian looks terrible. If I can say, that miniature looks bad. How is how is that a caster? It just what is why does he look like a child? And I know the older scale is oh look at this. Here's a here's an this guy is an older scale. Can't even use this guy, but he was part of the army deal. Of the Silas guy, he's on you can use him for shadows, and you can see the original owner had some thoughts about their base. I'll paint this guy up at some point because he looks cool. But I don't know. He doesn't look like a child. Ossian looks like a child. I can't get over. It's the funniest thing. I am gonna try out Ossian at some point because I'm gonna put together a Hypnos. I just want to see. I'm gonna try out all four of the Legions of Dawn Warcasters. I don't know. We'll see. He may end up being my favorite. Who knows? I may be like, wow, that little child, his playstyle actually suits me the best. Which kind of, he's got all those cool ranged attack things, and he helps with dice manipulation, which is great. And you know, he can reduce defense on targets he hits with ranged attacks, and so can his Jack. Like that's cool. I can see my. It's just please that sculpt is horrible. Can we please do some? Can we at least make him of size, or uh? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna. I would have to um unlock my car and wake up my family and grab it out of my car if I want to do that with Ossian. I'm sorry, Shadow Cat. I really should. I really should. Um, I'll do that at some point just to let you know because he is weird. Even for the old scale, I've been like holding him up to other miniatures, and his face is so small under the hood that you're like, it can only be a child in there. That's the only explanation. did they did they maybe when they were sculpting him they ran out of green stuff after they made his cloak? I is there did Mini Crate ever make a oh yeah the Silas guy? I don't know if this Fane Knight is. I have no idea when he was in the game, but like they look close. Both these guys look close in terms of their scale. The Power Fist always makes these guys look like they have spaghetti arm. Like how's he even fitting an arm right there? He looks a little no they're hold on. Let me hold him at the same. No, he is littler. If I hold their feet at the same level, he is smaller. I'm telling you, he's not a child like Ossian though. He may be a teenager. Here's another completely different um, range of miniatures, but I'm pretty sure I have him out here. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Oh, where is he? No, he's not here. That sucks. I was gonna say the old school tower. No, I don't have the old school tower. Oh well. There's something out of curiosity. Let's just for fun. People are different sizes. Yes, but I'm telling you, the ASEAN dude is so small. So here's um, this is a Guild Ball, um, their original mark, their first season sculpt, Chisel 1, right? Here's Vet Chisel, right? Season 3? Season 3? Yeah. Look, you would think that scale changed, and it really didn't. Cool. I love Chisel 1. Anyway, um, the Flint changed. I don't have the other Flint. But look at here. Here's a guy. Season 1. I know you measure from the base, but I'm trying to get their. Oh no, I guess that kind of there. Yeah, that scale still works. I don't know why the Flint he just seems a little smaller. But anyway, is it like it? I guess it's because of some of these other sculpts. Their heads are just bigger or whatever. This is a cool Rage sculpt where he killed Coin. So anyway, let's wrap up this guy because he's basically done. Right? I mean, I could do more like detailing around the cloak, but let's get the black down. But yeah, for what it's worth, I really am enjoying the Warmachine journey thus far. I still hold the weird opinion that it just seems like too much game. But I mean, all of these sort of bigger, deeper systems, I always just end up saying something like that, like, just make it faster, guys. All right. Now I'm gonna fit him into a list or two. Try him out. I still have a few other solos and stuff to try out. I think at this point there are the stuff I'm missing from the Legions of Dawn lists. Or there's going to be certain warjacks I currently don't have, and then there's like one unit I don't have, Nis Hunters, and I need that Dester Thane for the solos. Otherwise, I think I have all the solos. So, all right, well, let him dry up, and I'm gonna hit the hay here. But yeah, any other thoughts on Warmachine reducing game size and length? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you have to have all your toys? Do you want to have fewer toys? I don't know. Yeah, I've got a. I don't know. For me, it's if the sculpts look cool, I'm gonna add them. I added the Riz Defenders because they have cool sculpts. I painted mine like all white Assassin's Creed guys, so that's cool. But yeah. Also, the other thing too is um, online people say that Legions of Dawn is not a competitive faction. You should be playing Shadows of Ret if you want a competitive faction. To which I say I don't care. I like how these look, and if I just get stomped, that's okay too. So, all right, guys. Well, anyways, yeah, thanks for hanging out. Uh, I'll try to. I mean, once in a while, I can't. I definitely don't stay up that late anymore to do streams. But I am still doing a fair bit of painting, and a lot of times though it's like with I'll do painting and my family's in here with me, or we're watching something at the same time, which is why I'm not streaming. But you know, some nights like this, I think with the school year coming back, I think the kids will be in bed more often, more early. So I might be able to, come back and do maybe one stream a week or something like that. We'll figure it out. So, anyways, I'm going to head out, everybody. Have a good night, and thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one.